Lawrence Fox told to pay £180,000 in libel damages. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is just more of the same ludicrous lawfare that has been going on for years now, because the authoritarian creeps that run the world can do as they please and the law is an ass. I mean, it's obvious. No American president, doesn't matter how dodgy they were, how corrupt they were, how many millions of people they killed, illegal wars, torture, terrorism, locking up their own citizens, spying on them without warrants, burglarising them, Nixon, Bush, none of them got prosecuted like Trump has been. So it's obvious. But in this case, essentially, what they're basically saying is, they can call you names, but if you call them names, you get criminally prosecuted and you have to give them all your money. That's basically what it is, and I'm going to cover the story right now. However, I was going to go with a different story that I haven't got time to cover. I'll do that in my live stream tomorrow at 7 PM UK. I am going to touch on it for 1 second though, just to make the point that at least over here in the United States, the First Amendment keeps us safe from being prosecuted for insulting people. Because the person in this story, Me Too founder Tarana Burke, defiant after Harvey Weinstein ruling, that's her, has got a face like a sack of smashed crabs. And if I had to choose between shagging her or bagpiping me granddad's armpit, I'd choose the elderly man's appendage. Thank you very much. Lawrence Fox told to pay £180,000 in libel damages. He has been ordered to pay 90 grand in damages to two people he referred to as the obvious. Yeah, and it's totally irrelevant if they've got purple hair and read books to kids about gobbling the dad off. It's totally irrelevant. Definitely nothing creepy and weird about that. Yeah, definitely not. The actor turned politician lost a High Court libel case with former Stonewall trustee Simon Blake and drag artist Crystal. Oh yeah, and there hasn't been thousands of court cases all across the world where people who are into the same type of thing as drag artist Crystal and Simon Blake, where there hasn't been loads of cases of people like that being outed as having more skeletons in the closet than, I don't know, some bizarre, unholy amalgamation of Gary Glitter and Pol Pot. Yeah, there's definitely, that hasn't happened, has it? Mrs. Justice Collins Rice said the comments were gross, groundless and defensible. You knew she'd have a triple-barreled name, didn't you? You knew it. Tarquin Pottersby Smythe said it was appalling a breach. Shut up, posh boy. I've always been a fan of the state and rules and regulations, but you lot are making me sad with the commies. When the glorious revolution comes, I think I'm that close to advocating the same type of awful, dehumanising things as the commie regimes impose on people. And I'll just do mine by whether or not you've got a triple-barreled name and you talk as if you've got 3 plums in your mouth. The Reclaim Party founder, who said at the time that he would boycott Sainsbury's, countersued the pair over tweets accusing him of racism and attempted to sue broadcaster Nicola Thorpe for the same reason. In January, the court ruled in favour of Mr. Blake and RuPaul's Drag Race contestant Crystal and dismissed Mr. Fox's counterclaims. The judge did not make a ruling on whether describing Mr. Fox as racist was substantially true, after finding the tweets were unlikely to cause serious harm to his reputation. I can't even read it with a straight face, let alone say it with a straight face. How do these people have the brass neck? The neck of E.T. if he was a yoga practitioner. Don't know if that makes your neck stretchy. Just played Street Fighter 2. Unbelievable brass neck on these people. Unlikely to harm your reputation. They literally sack you a second you do it. Ask Ron Atkinson if being called racist harms your reputation. The second you get even the sniff, a scintilla of a whiff of you being racist, they instantly fire you. They'll take your job, they'll take your house, they'll take your livelihood. They'll even stop you from having a bank account, right? That happened. Take your bank account off you, stop you getting a mortgage. It wrecks your entire life if they call you a racist. What this is about is, they can call you names and you can't call them names. Easy. And what do you think gammon is? It's a racial slur. And it's a personal insult. If you've got pockmarked skin, there was a lass in my school who looked like she'd been apple bobbing in a deep fat fryer. She was so damaged by the fact that we used to mock her about it. I think she probably had a nervous breakdown. I'm not proud of that. Kids are cruel. But personal insults are far, far more insulting than nebula ones, which is the point I would make if you get into an argument with some weird, creepy drag queen, purple-haired weirdo, black, Asian, ethnic minority. Any of these woke activists like Ash Sarkar who are desperate to insult you and get a rise out of you. You have to play the game. We are the embattled minority now, the normal people, the working classes. We're being ruled over and ground beneath the iron-shod boots of the state, the woke statists. So they can insult you and they can mock you. Ash Sarkar does it all the time. She loves racially abusing people on Twitter, and she's praying that someone does it to her, because then she can have them arrested. So what you do is, you think smart, like the Bootneck does. Never call them anything that you can be prosecuted for. And everybody knows personal insults, as I've just explained, they are more offensive if you've got like a big nose or bad teeth or ginger hair. It's way worse than something as nebula as mocking your ethnicity or your religion or your colour or something. So let them call you names and then pick on something a little bit more barbed. This is why I find it ludicrous that they're claiming that Lawrence Fox was not harmed by being personally insulted. But they were. Think of it this way, this is how crazy it is. Ash Sarkar can call you a dumb, fat, ignorant, spotty, short, fat gammon. And if you respond in kind, you'll get nicked for it. Does it sound fair? No, didn't think so. It's about as fair as a fight between Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Mini-Me. It ain't fair because the state's on their side. The judge said there was no element of punishment for Mr. Fox and the damages were purely compensatory. So everyone that's ever called you a gammon, they owe you 90 grand, right? Lawrence Fox actually published the judge's ludicrous nonsense in full. I'll show you right here. There aren't many things that send a chill down my spine, but this does. You're next. Read this. I am ordering Mr. Fox to pay £90,000 to each of them. There is no element of punishing him. It's purely compensatory to redress the damage done and restore equilibrium. They have been resilient and resourceful in trying to get on with their lives and have had strong support at home and in the workplace. Had that not been so, Mr. Fox's selection of victims had been less self-sufficient and well supported, this award would have been considerably higher. Commie gibberish. Commie gibberish by an activist judge and an activist lawyer. They can call you a fat, dumb, ignorant, spotty, ugly gammon, bastard, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly reasonable. You go, yeah, bit noncy, and bam, 90 grand. Oh my God, you've harmed them. You've committed harm to them. All I can say, ladies and gentlemen, is, well, it's what I've always told you. We've already lost. This doesn't get fixed. You don't get to vote your way out of it. You are living in the Gulag Archipelago. It's just a little bit fluffier, and you've got an internet connection and a Netflix subscription. They have all the power, and they love the wielding of it. So get used to it. Keep watching my channel for hints and tips on how to stay ahead of the iron-booted state thugs currently grinding your hopes and dreams beneath their heels, because that's what's happening. If they insult you, make sure that you respond in a very sensible, delicate and nuanced way that doesn't revolve around any of those bollocks items depicted in the overbearing hate crime legislation of the past. Pick something personal. Don't pick anything nebulous. Like Ash Sarkar, for example. If she starts racially abusing you on Twitter, don't be daft enough to respond in kind. Just say something like, "You've got a nose like a builder's elbow, you honking boss-eyed dwarf. You are a charmless, talentless rat, and if it wasn't for the efforts of my people paying your way and your family's way, you'd be sleeping in a bus shelter or tugging sailors off for Happy Meals." Something along those lines. Don't pick any of the protected characteristics, because if you do, they will take great pleasure in robbing you blind or locking you up. And that is what they're gonna do. Because what happens if you can't and don't pay the fine? What happens? The state has to have power to collect the fine. If they say, "Give us 90 grand," and you go, "Nope, not happening," guess what happens? Guess what happens? Off to the gulag. Off to the gulag. Ash can call you whatever she likes. If you respond in a way she doesn't like, you get fined, and if you don't pay the fine, you're breaking rocks, son. So, as I keep telling you, welcome to the dystopian hellhole. We are already living in it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done for the day. I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow, and I'll see if Paula wants to come on. So yeah, I'll be there Saturday, 7 p.m. Be there or be square. Let me know what you think in the comments, as usual, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Toodle pip. Cheers.